How long you think it was gonna take before we got here? Now you gotta prove yourself all over again. Come on.
Ain't nobody coming, I've been gunning from 100 yards, trying to hit my mark, missing every time. This will be the start of the picture perfect. Watch you.
Hello, Mr. Terry, and welcome back to Money Mondays at Parx with
That's right. How you doing?
Terry Hollywood Hayes and yours truly, HRT Rich. I'm all right. How was your weekend, Mr. Terry?
It was okay, except for the air conditioning broke down. I think Saturday, and it's been over 100, like 105, so it's a little tough.
Well, yeah, a little bit on the warm side, I would say. Huh?
Yeah, so we went to a movie yesterday with our grandkids. Thought, oh, it's going to be nice and cool there. For some reason, they didn't have any air conditioning either.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it was
nice
hot there. Yeah,
no air conditioning at the movies. Just a beautiful, beautiful weekend for sure. I'm sure hot.
It was
nice. Hot here too this week. So I think we're supposed to come around 100 around Chicago. Not the most normal temperature in the summertime, but we got a big old lake over here, and I'll be over in the big old lake where the water will be about 60 degrees, and you got a 40-degree difference. It'll feel pretty good. Me and my dog.
That's true. Yeah, you'll have a good time.
Yeah, me and my dog. She likes to swim, and she when she's swimming, it's actually, and then but she tries to scratch the hell out of me because she thinks I'm a buoy or something, trying to get to catch me so that she can get her balance or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Terry, we're back to Parx today, like we are every Monday, my man. You ready to get started with our picks for today?
I am. Let's get going.
All right, let's get rocking and rolling. In race number 1, Terry, you're the one that tells us all about the dynamics of the race, or at least the conditions. We'll go through the dynamics next.
Yeah, it's a 1-mile race. A maiden claiming 40,000, first 35,000 for maidens, 3-year-olds, and upward.
All right, and then as far as the 1-mile profile of a winner is concerned, Terry, what we're looking for is horses that typically have early speed at the mile. In fact, 38% of the time they go wire to wire. Pretty strong inside 3 edge there, Terry. So keep an eye on those inside horses. 4 through 7, they play under par. If you wear an 8 and out, it's a pretty big penalty. To give us a little bit of an advantage, hopefully, we put together some simulations, 1,000 simulations using speed figures to see which horse in those 1,000 simulations will get the maximum speed figure, in other words, win. And then we compare those odds to what the morning lines are, looking for value. We also do simulations, 1,000 of them again, for early speed to see which horses might be where at the quarter-mile marker. So in this case, you see Winged Foot. Terry will talk about this more in a second. 62% chance to be on the lead at the quarter-mile marker. And then based upon that early speed, Terry, which horses have the best chance to get a pace that they're comfortable with, i.e. the C-zone, comfort zone. What do you see in the data, my friend?
Well, as you see there, most of these have some kind of a speed, except for maybe the outside horse 8. But if you look at that 2, it shows the plenty of speed. So unless the 3 can do something about it or the 5, it's probably going to get the quarter pole first. And then there's a overlay on the 2, and it's a pretty nice overlay. It's supposed to be like 3 to 5, and it's listed at 4 to 1 on the morning line. All of them, but the 2, 3, and 8 have C-zone numbers, the best being the number 7.
Yeah, so best being 7. Yeah, it looks like it can get the best trip. Let's see what the trip handicapping looks like here, because we do that too. You see here the 5 horse back here making the first time start, Whiskey Prize. All right, we don't know what that one's going to bring to the table. So far, none have shown to those types want to be on the lead. They're pilots. The EPs can be pilots or co-pilots. Your P's, and that's where we find the majority of the horses, they want to be co-pilots, not necessarily on the lead, but in the shadows of the leaders. PC are versatile. They can pretty much be anywhere, but typically are middle back pilots or coach. And then you see here C closers. They want to come from the back to the front. And in this case, we got a pair of NCs. These are horses that have not been within 5 lengths of the winner, in as many as the last 10 races. So looking at the early speed, according to recency bias, Terry, we do see that Winged Foot, the 2 horse that we saw in the simulations, being forwardly placed, the closer. That's what you call, in my book, a left arrow horse, a horse that normally wants to be or has been towards the back versus the competition it's faced. And now, with its normal early pace, is going to press forward. A lot of long shots come off of that sort of scenario. Late speed belongs to the 6 horse, plenty of time. So it looks like the 2 and the 6 have the most early speed and the most late speed, which should mean they have the best total pace combination. And indeed they do, a few points better than the 7. So if you're a pace handicapper, the 2 and the 6 might be where you find your winner, Terry. Where did you find yours?
I like the 6, Plenty of Time. He's finished third versus Tougher on his last race. Finished in the switches to a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 35% of the races when dropping off of a claim. His best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage jockey who, in the last 7 days, been in the money 7 out of 9 starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. And then I like the 7, Marvelous Moon Dance. He ran second versus similar in his last race, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. He's actually tied with the 6. Number 1 is my third pick, Dudley Dickerson. He has a high percentage winning trainer, and this trainer wins 30% of the horse races when he takes a horse from a maiden race to a maiden claiming race. And he drops in class today and the post is winning a 19% clip. The 4, Retweet, he has finished second in his last 2 races, and he has a trainer in the last 14 days have won 4 out of 11 starts. I'm going to start off with a $1 double, and I'm going to use the 1, 4, 6, and 7. I'm probably going to be sorry I didn't use that 2, but anyway, and that's going to use the 3, 8, and the second.
So Terry mentioned the double because we have a $100 budget that we have to spread from race to race to race to race all the way through the 10 race card here at Parx. Like if we're going to the track with a Ben Franklin in the pocket, hoping to come home with a little bit more. I'm going to go with that 2 horse there, Terry. Wingfoot is a maiden special weight dropper down to the maiden claiming ranks. Biggest drop in all of horse racing. Has a really good shot to be on the lead, according to our simulations and according to pace. But it's getting first-time Lasix. Early speed, Lasix, I absolutely love that combination. I've seen it win too many times to ignore it. Number 6, Plenty of Time, is a track dropper coming in from a better circuit. It's also a class dropper. Trainer Michael Pino, when he claims and drops like he's doing with Plenty of Time, wins at 35%. When you look at those works, too, as it gets prepped for its first Parx race, very good. Whiskey Prize, the 5 horse, is that first-time starter. You got trainer Jamie Ness and jockey Michael Sanchez. You put those 2 together, 17 races they've done it so far, and they've won 9 of them. So they tend to hit the winner's circle with some regularity. Finally, Marvelous Moon Dance did run the top last race. Speed figure last time out was at this level, and actually I think won that race and got DQ'd, Terry. The race before that, he finished second by a neck at the same level. But interestingly, jockey Michael Sanchez that we talked about riding the first-time starter gets off of this 9 horse and rides the first-timer instead. Makes me wonder if maybe Michael's working that 5 in the mornings and knows something about that horse's ability. I probably should have stuck it in my double. I think I have some money. You said I didn't spend all my money. So what I'm going to do, Terry, is I'm going to spend a little bit more right now. I'm going to throw that first-time starter in there too. So I'm going to go 2, 5, 6. Over the 1, 4, and 8 for my daily double to start the day today.
That sounds good.
So we have a couple of minutes before we go off to race number 1 with the video. We'll describe what we're seeing in race number 1 as they run. But between here and there, Terry, let's talk about a couple of things. Tonight on Horse Center, I think it's going to be Julie. I'm not 100% sure if Julie's going to make it or not. But if she does make it, she'll team up with the number 1 co-host, aside from Terry and of course, my other co-pilot, Charles, and Tom from time to time on Foreign Fridays. Deshaun Parker will be on tonight at 8 p.m., the ever popular, very well-respected Deshaun Parker. He'll be on tonight with Julie and Sean to talk about his progress rehabbing from an injury. So if you have any questions for Deshaun, make sure you tune in at 8 p.m. tonight. And speaking of Julie, we're about halfway there, a little bit less than halfway there. But her husband, Andre Ramgeet, as we talked about last week, got into a spill at Charlestown on the 15th of July. So you can see he's recovering. He's got some pretty good injuries. And there's a GoFundMe. There is a link in the description down there below. Make sure you help out, folks. We'd appreciate it. I challenge everybody to pick 1 race today, make a bet on that race, and if you win, go over to that GoFundMe and donate some of the proceeds to Andre, Julie, both part of the Horse Racing Today family. All right, Terry, let's go to race number 1. Again, our selections for race number 1. We have the, you see right there, right? And let's see, Christopher D'Souza in race number 1. Big fan of the 7 to win with the 7, 4, 6 exacta and trifecta box.
All right.
All right, let's see. Race number 1. Are they getting loaded up yet? Yeah, they're almost. Yeah, I'd say they're about to get loaded, Terry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else that we want to talk about today? Well, one other thing. Guarantee tip sheet today. You can head on over to Guarantee tip sheet while they load. Arapahoe Park is the free track of the day today. Have you ever played out Arapahoe, Terry?
Yeah, I think once or twice I did.
Yeah, you got some of them bubblegum races, so they're always kind of fun.
Yeah.
Number 4, Bianca, my niece, excuse me, flair. And Bianca, my niece, does have some flair. That is a favorite over there. And that race will begin at 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out. Again, link down in the description below. Use those links so they know where you're coming from. Looks like just a couple of more horses to load for race number 1. They'll be off to the races, and then we're done. When they're done, you and I will be off to the races for the rest of the picks today, Terry.
That's right. Yep.
Right now, the 6 horse is your 4-5 favorite in race number 1. Is they're all in and out they go. Pretty clean break across the board there. It does look like the 5 horse got a really easy lead. The first time starter, Terry. So we'll see if me making a change finally works to my benefit for once, Terry. And that 5 horse right now, the first time starter that got off to an easy lead, is actually 12-1 on the on the odds. Actually moved up to 14-1.
Wow.
The 3 horse, Paul P. That horse is now in between horses, between it and the 7, a Marvelous Moon. They go through the opening quarter in 24-3, maybe a touch on the quick side. For this level, Terry, I probably would. I mean, it's not a deal killer, so to speak, but it certainly isn't as slow as you'd like it to be if you're backing the 5 horse with Michael Sanchez on there. And as they go through the opening half and 48-3, so they actually picked it up a little bit, running a 24. That 6 horse is really pushing up to the outside right now. It looks like it's going to run by everybody, though. It's a pretty good effort from the 5 horse on the first time effort. Yeah, your 6 horse right now, the 2 horse that we thought would break to the lead, you're not going to regret that one, Terry, because it didn't fire early. So when it didn't get the lead, you knew it was done. So your 6 horse here, Terry, unless the 7 horse can run it down at the end here, looks like they got a pretty good hold on the 6 horse still. The jockey hasn't asked him to do anything yet. The 7 has pulled up alongside, Terry. So it looks like the 7 horse did run by the 6. So you got a nice price there with the 7 to open up your double, Terry.
All right.
The 7 is 5-1. It's going to go 7 and then 6 and then 1. 7, 6, 1. So Terry had the trifecta in the top 3 picks there. 7, 6, 1, and then the 2. 7, 6, 1, 2.
All right.
All right. So you got a $12 horse at least to start. 7, 1, 6. You came close there, Christopher D'Souza. You just needed the 1 horse in there, but you were right on that 7. So big ups to Christopher D'Souza on that 7 horse to win at 5-1. As our friend Jared would say, boom. All right, so let's move on to race number 2. Mr. Terry, off of your opening W on the first race of the card today. What's going to happen in race number 2 from a condition standpoint?
It's a 6 furlongs race, a $10,000 claiming race with a purse of $27,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since.
Oh, hold on a second. They're telling me the 8 won the race. Oh, it was the 8 at 45
the 8, yeah,
oh.
yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. What a great call by me. So I'm sorry to get everybody hopes up. So it's an unboom, Christopher D'Souza.
Yeah.
My bad, folks. You can throw eggs and rotten tomatoes
So
now.
You just disappoint me. Now I don't have a double going. But anyway.
Well, neither one of us had the 8 horse in anywhere in there.
So this is for 3-year-olds and upward, which have not won a race since April 24th, or which have never won 4 races.
All right, let's go back real quick here. Let's see what happened with the 8 horse here. Parx horse, maiden claiming 40, wasn't there last time. Didn't really fire against any of these other horses in there. July 11th was the last race. So a couple of weeks back, really didn't have a workout in between. I don't know. It'd be really tough to pick with that horse there, especially coming off of here.
Yeah.
Went from a sloppy track to a fast track. Did show some improvement from race 1 to race number 2. So you got to like that. It had better pace numbers across the board. So you kind of like that, but I'm not so sure I would have believed those pace numbers considering that the fractions were a little bit slower. So that's just the case of horse racing where the long shot beats you, right?
That's right. Well, it did get to go to a mile from 6 furlongs, and it kind of looked like it may be come a closer, so maybe that helped. I don't.
Yeah, you do see it. That has some pretty good late pace numbers there. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, there's some hints in there, but obviously hints that nobody
Well, I didn't
lots of
take it.
luck. Yeah, gotta like the name. Yeah. Well, it's tough to take it off of. I mean, there are a couple hints there too. You got a trainer too that in 2023 has won one of 43 races, one of 30 at Parx. Really a tough call. I mean, that might have been just an all bet that may have put you on that horse,
Could
right?
be. Yeah.
I mean, the backers certainly, the better certainly didn't back that one at 40 something to 1. All right. So we went through the conditions in race number 2. Let's see if we can find any clues in race number 2 from the simulations and and as well as the pace. But at 6 furlongs, what we're looking for from a racing bias standpoint, tactical speed, 37% of the time they go wire to wire. Post positions are fair 1 through 7, though you do get a little bit of a bonus if you wear an 8 and out. So maybe some outside speed, Terry, but it doesn't look like there's any of it. It looks like most of it belongs to the 3 horse.
Yeah, that's right. The 3, 84.33%. The only other one is the 5. Everybody else doesn't show much speed at all. The 1 has a small overlay. It's supposed to be just under 9-2, and it's 5-1 a morning line. And then the 8 has a nice overlay. It's supposed to be like, I don't know, 8-5 or 4-5. I mean, and it's 2-1 in the morning line. All of them show some kind of C zone number. So.
Yeah, I agree. It was hard to have that one, but it's Parx. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple little clues in there, but I don't think anything that make you jump off that. The race 3 won much better. Which in race 3 you're talking about? Which horse in there? We haven't gotten to that race 3 yet, but let us know, Marat, which horse you like. And like Scary Creations, Leo, Michael Herbert, Christopher D'Souza, if you have any comments, questions, or you want to correct me for getting something wrong, like saying the 7-1, please hit us up in the comment section. We appreciate that. The pace set up for race number 2, you see, you got a bunch of horses, 4 of them that want to be, 2 of them that want to be your pace setters, the 3 and the 5. So it's important for those 2 to show that they have the ability to get to the lead. And both of them do have a pretty good early pace advantage over the rest of the field. So they'll likely get to the front. The 1 and the 4, your pilot, co-pilot types, the 4 should be in the mix. The 1 might be there too. I mean, there's really not a big difference from top to bottom. You see the PC horse, the 7 here, put the glass down. That one, Terry, as your lone PC, many times you see a horse like this, the Sesame Street horse, I call them, the one that doesn't look like the others. You absolutely have to double and triple check those horses because many times they get a pretty good race. Late speed, we saw a little bit of late speed play in there. The 8 horse, new box, should show some late legs. But you got the 1, the 6, the 7, and the 8. They got a little bit of an advantage over everybody else. Total pace horse is that 8 horse, news box. That one scores 6 points better than the next, Terry. Who do you think is better than the next?
Well, I like Newsbox at number 8. He has won 2 out of the last 3 races, has the highest last speed rating, and a high percentage winning jockey and trainer. Much better. The 3 is my second choice, drops in class today, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. His best start speed is fastest among today's starters, and he has a high percentage winning jockey and trainer who in the last 14 days have won 5 out of 10 starts. My Devil's Child is 6 is my third pick, has finished in the money in 6 out of the last 6 races, finishing second, only losing by a neck in his last race. And then Put Down the Glass is 7 that you referred to. He finished third in his last race, has the highest last speed rating, and his best start speed is fastest among today's starter. I'm going to go with the pick 4, 50 cent. I'm going to go with the 3-8, with the 1-2-4-5, with the 1-4-7, with the 2-4.
Charles B says he crushed it there, Terry, with the try and win place show at Parx right there. He's just to show you what the try paid there in the first race, 50-cent try, 861, $634.60. So hopefully you had it. Hopefully you had it for more than 50 cents, right?
Yeah, congratulations, Charles.
Yes, and then bombs away in that first race for sure. Then finally, you have the 2 horse in here. Christopher D'Souza in race number 2, 6 to win, 6-3-2 exacta try box in race number 2. I like the 8 horse here too, Terry, in race number 1. Race number 2. You have Newsbox did run the top last race speed figure. It is a track and class dropper as well. A couple of decent workouts between races. As we mentioned, has the top total pace by about 6 points. Jara Lane, the one horse, last race was better than it looks with quicker times. Horse was wide all the way around the track. I think moving inside to the post position could help on the drop in class. Number 4, Portal 1, caught some really fast fractions last out. I don't think looking at the pace numbers for the horses here, it should be as quick this time around. This horse will be really dangerous, the Portal 1, Terry, if it can be near the front when the race gets started. And I think it has a good shot to be there. Number 3, Much Better, Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera should be involved from the start of this race. Third race off the bench and making it start in the lowest level in the last 10 races. Pick 4, 1-8 over the 1-4-6, over the 1-3-4 and 7, over the 4-6 for me in race number 2. Race number 3, Terry, come share the particulars with us for that one.
All righty then. Let me get up here. In race 3, it's 7 furlongs. It's a claiming 12,500 claiming price. First 23,000. It's for fillies, 3-year-olds or fillies and mares 4 years old and upward, which have never won 2 races.
And then race number 3, we're going to run 7 furlongs here today, Terry. At 7 furlongs, tactical speed is the way to get the job done. 31% of the time they go wire to wire. There is a strong inside 3 bias in here. And then from 4 and out, it favors the inside horses. So 4 does better than 5, does better than 6, and so forth. Again, at 7 furlongs, Terry, you're looking for some inside speed, preferably. In race number 3, we do have some inside speed again.
Yeah, it appears the 3 horse, as in the last race, has all the speed, 89.44%. Although that 6 may give it a little bit of pressure. You never know. The 3 has a small overlay. It's supposed to be just over 3-1, and it's listed at 9-2 on the morning line. And the 5 has a small overlay. It's supposed to be 5-2, listed at 7-2 on the morning line. The C zones are 4, 5, and 6 have the best C zone numbers.
And then our pace numbers, as we look at those, we're looking at horses that a lot of horses in here with speed. Everybody wants to be up on the front, so you better be the speed of the speed. It looks like that is the 6 horse Be Water, but it's going to have plenty of company from Riverview. That 3 horse, the lone pressure horse, should be exactly where it wants to be. Reed's Fangirl would be much better, in my view, if the horse had the strongest late pace in there. That going to belong to the 5 horse, Total Discretion. That one has a pretty good advantage over everybody else. The problem is with that early speed might be so far off the track that it might not be able to catch the front runner. So maybe can run up for a piece at the end. If you're looking at total pace, Reed's Fangirl does have the most total pace. Not too much better than the 5 or 6, but that trio is considerably better than the 2, 4, and 1, Terry. So I think the 3, 5, or 6 produces your winner, Terry, perhaps.
Yeah, I think this is really a wide open race. I like the 2 looking at Lightning. She ran second in her last race, winning the race before that, and has a high percentage winning trainer. Total Discretion. The 5 is my second choice. She finished third in her last race, has a high percentage winner trainer and jockey. Bet of the Century. The 4 is my third pick, drops in class today, and also has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey. Riverview. The 1 is my long shot. Was claimed in her last race by a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 35% of the races when dropping a horse off a claim. And it switches to a high percentage winning jockey. And the Real Post is winning at 21% clip. And so no bet for me in this race.
I like the 6 horse Be Water, expecting this one to be the pace setter. Again, speed of the speed. We'll see if indeed that's the case, because the 3 is going to be right there too. I'm not sure, though, that the extra distance is going to help. Bet of the Century, the 4 horse did run the top last race speed figure. If you rewind a little bit through the past performances, has some early speed too. Was better in its last race late. So I think that you're going to see more stamina today from Bet of the Century. Riverview rides the hot rail. Drop and claim for trainer Michael Pino. We talked about that. Hitting at about 35%. Has some nice back speed as well. And a nice workout for the new barn between races. Finally, number 3, Reed's Fangirl. The 6 isn't on the lead. The 3 will be on the lead. Drops back to a class, to a level where she's very competitive for the win. And I noticed, Terry, going back through my picks from day after day after day, one of the things I seem to hit a lot of are exactas. So I just went ahead, today and did some exacta bets to see how that might play out. I'm going to take my top 4 picks and just put them over my top 2 picks. See if I might catch a couple of those in there, right?
All right.
All right. And then Jose Manuel Camaraco, that he likes the I guess the 6 horse. I'm not quite sure what the 6. I'm not sure what that means. Race number 3, number 5 to win for Christopher D'Souza with the 4, 5, and 6, and Charles B. If you're sitting on the 8 horse like that, my friend, in race number 1, you got to share with us what you got bombs away for the rest of the day. So let's all of us capitalize on $600 trifectas today, Terry. Right?
That's right. Every day.
Hey, and if you haven't done so yet, Terry. What should people do to real easy things you can do to help us grow so that the more we grow, the more resources are made available to us through the likes of YouTube, Facebook, so on. So go ahead and do a couple of things that you can help us real easy by going like this, right?
That's right. You go ahead to YouTube and subscribe, hit the little button or bell, so it tells you when our shows are on. We have shows all the time at night, during the day. So go ahead and do that. Give us likes and thumbs up. Go to the bottom, hit share, copy that link, and send it out on your Facebook or your social sites to all your people that you know. And then go to Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and the thread at Horse Race, the number 2 day. Give us a likes and a thumbs up. And let all your friends and relatives know what you've been watching and see if they can take and watch it too.
Okay. So I agree with you, Terry. Go ahead and do that. Hit the like button on YouTube, the thumbs up on Facebook. Those things help us with the algorithms, the comments, like everybody's putting in there. We greatly appreciate it. That shows interactivity from the folks that are watching. The higher the interactivity, which is thumbs up and comments and returning to watch the shows, the higher we get up in the algorithms when people search for Parx. Yep. So we would greatly appreciate that. All right, Terry, let's move off to race number 4. We did everything in race number 3, right?
Yes, we did.
Yes. I'll be honest with you. At the moment, my phone is buzzing for some internal things here that family-wise that I got to take care of. But go ahead, Terry. Tell us about take care of the conditions for race number 4.
Well, it's 1 mile and 70 yards. It's a $7,500 claiming race. Purse of $22,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races.
All right. And then race number 4 is 1 mile and 70 yards, as you mentioned. 1 mile and 70 yards does favor early speed. 30% of the time, Terry, 3 out of 10, they get to the front, they stay in the front, and they never give it up. Once again, we see that the inside rail does have a little bit of advantage. So he's so subtle, might not be so subtle that it has an edge. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, there's a little bit of penalty, Terry. So inside speed, if he's so subtle has any, he might have a shot to win this one wire to wire, Terry.
Yeah, look again. Look at that 3 there. It's another 3 and third race in a row where the 3 has plenty of speed. And I think it's the only one that's going to be able to get to that quarter pole. The one has a small overlay from 7-2 to 4-1 on the morning line. A 1, 7, and 4 have the best C-zone numbers.
I got a feeling your pick 4 is off, Terry. So you might want to go correct that one because you don't have the 2 and the 1 is your top pick. So I'm guessing that's supposed to be 1, 4, 7.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm sure. I know the 2 horse he scratched out too. All right. So looking at he's so subtle as the 1 horse. So I have that one as my top pick 2 in there, Terry. So we just went through the C zones and all that stuff right now, right?
Yeah.
Race number 4, excuse me, the 3 horse. Give me back my bullets. A little bit of a Leonard Skinner reference there. I think that one has got the most early pace according to at least that's where he wants to be. May not be there, but he will have some competition coming from the 6 horse. Lawlessness. Again, Lawlessness, a closer based upon the pace here. Moving to the left. So a left arrow horse. Those 2 should be on the front, clear of everybody else in there. They might get a pretty good trip around the track. He's so subtle, does have the most late speed, but again, could be far enough off that might not be able to make up that ground. The total pace belongs to He's So Subtle and Give Me Back My Bullets, followed by Louis' Law. They're 10 points better than everybody else. So once again, I think the probability is high that the 1, the 3, or the 4 are going to be your winners.
Yeah, I like the 1. He's So Subtle is my first pick. He has been knocking at the door Finishes second versus similar in his last race as a favorite, but has a high percentage win. Trainer who wins 24% of the starts when he brings a beaten favorite back to race again. It has a really good jockey. Number 4, Louis Law. He did not like the turf in his last race, as it appears, and moves back to the dirt. He has the highest speed favorite today's distance, and his best dirt speed is fastest among today's starters. My second pick. Third pick is 7 Hornswoggle. Which funny name.
You know who Hornswoggle is, Terry?
No.
Hornswoggle was a little, I don't know what the right terminology is, but he was in the WWE, and he was a what do they call them? A vertically challenged person. I don't know how they call them today without getting myself in trouble, but he was a short person, right?
Yeah.
Really short. Can you say dwarf? I mean, is that, I don't know. I'm not quite sure with the lingo nowadays, what's loud and what's not allowed, but he was a really funny guy that he was part of a tag team in the WWE. But anyway, that's Hornswoggle.
Well, he's my third pick. He drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer, and this trainer wins 31% of the races when taking a horse down 2+ classes. Lawlessness, the 6 is my long shot. Drops in class today, switches a high percentage jockey and has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to play a 50-cent pick 4. I'm going to use the 1-4-7 with the 2-4, with the 6 as a single, with the 4-7-8-9.
All right. I'm going to go with the one horse here as my top pick too. That one is Soluble. He's Soluble from that rail bias. I don't know if he's going to get the right trip in here though, Terry, to be honest with you, but he did run faster fractions at 1 mile and a 16th versus 1 mile and 70 yards. I think in this case, the cutback in distance should be helpful. Louis Law, that 4 horse, lowest level in the last 10, has the most back class in this field, Terry. Number 3, Give Me Back My Bullets, small drop in class, could be one of your pace setters here. Did tie for the top total pace when we went through the pace setup. And Hornswoggle, that gentleman that used to be in the WWE, he does have a Paco Lopez riding on a big class dropper for a track dropper as well. So I think this one could be a right thing right there.
All right.
And then I'm going to do a pick 4, 1 over the 4-6, over the 5-6, over the 4-6, 7, 8, and 9. Let's go off to, hold on a second. I think we got some comments here before we move off to the next race. Christopher D'Souza likes in race number 4 to 3 to win with the 3-1-4 exacta box. Jared Bush saying bombs away in race number 1, $95 indeed. Texas Rangers tonight, morning line and money line in baseball. And Jared had the 8. Jared, you know something? No, my man, you got to tell us before the fact, not after the fact, my friend, because that's how this works. Right, Terry?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Otherwise, how can we bet it?
Right. Well, you know, it's the big fish that got away, right? I had him on the hook, but he got off. So you got to tell us beforehand, Jared, what you like in the races. That's the process, my friend. All right. Race number 5 is next on our docket here, Mr. Terry. In race number 5, once again, you're the one that gets to share all of the details.
Yeah, it's a 7 furlong race again, and it's a $7,500 claiming race with a purse of $23,000. It's for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 4 races.
And then the 7 furlongs, as we talked about, the way to the winner's circle, does favor tactical speed. 31% of the time they go wire to wire. There is a strong inside 3 bias. Again, and then 4 and out, you do see that the closer you are to the rail.
I have good season numbers except for 3 and 9.
All right. And then I like in race number, the pace setup in race number 5 looks a little bit like this. You do see that the 6 horse is your lone pilot, co-pilot type. The 4 and the 8 are your pilot, your PC types. They're more versatile. So far, the 9, Cape May style, hasn't shown the ability to be within 5 lengths of the leader at the finish line. So if that 6 horse has any giddy up and go, a little bit of early juice, could be one that's tough to contend with. And indeed, that is the case, as it does have the most early pace, according to recency bias. A good 9 points ahead of everybody else. So every 5 points equals approximately 1 length, folks. So from a pace setup, you're looking like the 6 should be on the front there. And it's not all that far off with the late pace number either there, Terry. I mean, you got the 4 horse Strawberry Cone, Splitsville. Those guys are considerably higher, but still right in the mix there. So might be able to hang on to that lead with the 6. 6 with the top total pace, shot 5 points better than everybody else to go wire to wire, followed by the PC type. just looking at the pace setup, Terry, I would be eyeballing the 6 and the 4 as your top candidates. What about you?
Well, I like the 4. Strawberry Cone is my first pick. Won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last race speed rating, and his best highest speed figure at today's distance. 2 is my second choice, True Dakotan. Likes Parx Racing. He's finished 58% of the time in the money at Parx Racing, but he won 18% of those, and likes the distance. He's finished 100% of the starts at this distance. Has a high percentage winning trainer. Splitsville, the 7 is my third pick. He is a closer with a better start. Will try to close and win this race. And then Mr. Briggs, he's my long shot, the 5. He ran second in his last race and has a high percentage winning trainer. I'm going to play an exacta here. I'm going to use the 4 on top with the 2, 4, 5, 7.
All right, I am going to go with the 4 horse here, Strawberry Cone, top last race speed figure in a blowout win. The weird thing is it's just an odd drop in class for me. Number 6, which causes trouble. That one's my second choice. A nose and a neck away from winning the last 2 at this level. The only distance concern for me here is the distance. True Dakotan is the third pick. It is the simulation favorite in here, Terry. Strong C-zone, cuts back in distance where he's been out 3 times with 3 seconds. And finally, number 8, Keffy, some of the best workouts between races of its career. Catches a weight break today. I'm going to go again with that exacta 2-4-6-8 over the 4-6. How long do we have to this next race, Terry?
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. So let's go ahead and set up race number 6 real fast, and then we'll come back. Terry, what do you say?
Okay, it sounds good to me. All right. So then on race 6, we have a 6.5 furlongs, allowance race, $8,000. Purse is $30,000 for 3-year-olds and upward, which have started for a claiming price of $8,000 or less since July 24th, 2021.
All right. And then as far as the 6.5 furlongs, the profile of a winner, you're looking at a horses that typically want to have early speed. 31% of the time, they lead from beginning to the middle to the end. Again, inside 3 bias we see here over and over again. 4 through 7, a little bit of a discount this time. But if you wear an 8 or out, you do get a little bit of at least you come back to fair. In race number 6, Terry, we want a little bit of inside speed. We can go from there.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot of speed in here, although the 5 shows some. And then that inside horse, the 1, has a little bit of speed. The small amount of overlay on the 1, which is 9-2, and it verts to 6-1 on the morning line. And then the 7, 5, 6 is got the best C zones.
All right. And then as far as our pace set up in the 6th race, before we go off to race number 2, looks like everybody, most of them, want to be forwardly placed. The 7, Jump Shot, wants to be the leader. If it's not the leader, could get discouraged. Looks like the 1 rejected again, and Marsour, the PC type. Those 2 should push forward and be up on your lead. They both have a little bit of late speed in there, except for the Marsour. Iconic Legacy, the closer, Jump Shot. They have the most late speed. Looking at total pace, Terry, this race looks like it's a very competitive one from top to bottom, except for maybe Chain Reaction. That might be the only one that doesn't really have a shot to win this race, Terry. Let's look real quick and see how long we are to race number 2, if we have time to go ahead and make our picks or not. We don't.
I don't think so. They're just about gone.
So in race number 2, they're all lined up in race number 2. Hopefully I can tell you which one won this time around, not screw that one totally up. And as they come out of the gate, the 4 horse in there looks like it wants to have the lead, although the 3, the one we projected would be on the pace, is right there too. To the outside is the 7 horse. Put the glass down. The 3 horse now has moved this way up on to the rail in this 6 furlong race. So you got 3 horses across the front there. The 3, the 4, and the 5 as your pace setters. 5 is pulling out a little bit now, Terry. So I don't think we're going to get back-to-back 40-1 shots. The 8 horse there, after they go through the opening quarter and 22-2, is trying to make up ground. It does look like right now that 4 horse is on the front there, Terry. And it might be difficult to chase down. I think the 3 is about – neither one of them has really asked the horse to do much. But the 4 horse has edge past the 3, and rarely do you see horses come back from that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I think the 4 horse is going to run away with this one, Terry, unless the 8 horse can run him down here. It looks like the 8 horse is going to try to track him down. 4 horse is tiring. I don't know if there's enough space left for the 8 to get up there and get both of us ahead into the pick 4. Yes, indeed. I think it is indeed the 8 horse, folks, this time around. I don't think I screwed that one up. It looks like it's going to go 8 and then 3-4, 8-3-4 as your race number 2. The 3 with an interesting comeback right there, which is yeah, indeed, because he had gotten passed by the 4. Then the jockey laid off the 4 a little bit, and then the 3 passed him by. So I got a feeling there's going to be a trainer and owner on the 4 horse Portal 1 that aren't going to be too happy with the last few strides there. So 8, 3, 4, and 2 in race number 2, Mr. Terry.
All right.
So we're both alive in that pick 4 right there. All right, let's see. Loading in race 2, number 1, Jarlin, race number 2. Yeah, 1 didn't fire, unfortunately, for us, Emily. I wish it would have. Number Jared Bush says Newsbox. I don't know what horse was which
that
one
was the 8 horse.
That's that one. Okay, good chart. Yeah. And then LOL Michael Herbert. All right, so let's talk about
the race 6, and I like the number 6 horse, Iconic Legacy is my first pick. He won his last race at Parx Racing. Drops in class today, has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 100% of the races when he drops a horse off a win. Number 7, Jump Shot. It's my second choice. Finished 4th after having a wide trip and going into the stretch wide in his last race. Switches to a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like number 5, Masher. He won his last race at Parx Racing, has the highest last race speed rating. The trainer and the jockey combination in the last 14 days has won 2 out of 3 starts. Chain Reaction, the 4 is my long shot. He finished 3rd versus similar in his last race. My pick of the day was originally in this race was Scratch, so it changed. And I like the 6. I was pretty hard to decide between the 6 and the other horse that got scratched. And I'm going to bet 20 to win on the 6.
So in the 5th, in this, let's go back to the race number 3. Victor Nazo says in race number 3, the 2 and the 5. In race number 4, Victor likes the number 4. So he's going with the 4 there. Again, like Victor, Jared, Scary Creations, Emily, and all of the above. If you have something that you like, Christopher D'Souza, race 6 to 7 to win with the 7-1 exact box. I like the 5 horse in here, Terry, to score in the 6th race. Marsour, come off the bench from a 7th-month rest, won by 18 lengths with the top last race speed figure. And, when you win by 18, you know that the jockey didn't ask for everything. So clearly the horse could have more in round 2 off the bench. Number 6, Iconic Legacy. Better times at 6.5 furlongs than it ran at 6 furlongs. Loves the distance, Terry. 9 times it's run 6.5 furlongs, won 4 of them, second in 3 of them, and coming off of a win, dropping in class. Kind of a little bit suspicious there. Number 1, Rejected again. Our friend Charles's high school dating life was better against the board in its last and still has more upside, I feel like, in this race, according to its back class. And finally, number 7, Jump Shot. Did run faster fractions at 7 furlongs versus 6 furlongs. Has plenty of back speed in there too, Terry, and scores out as our top C-Zone horse. I'm going to go with a try here, 5-6 over the 1-5-6 over the 1-5-6 and 7 because of all the scratches in here in a short field. So I didn't want to commit a lot of money, $4, hoping to get something that might pay a little bit better. Race number 7, Terry, is going to be, let me just pull up the all of the right banners and stuff for race number 7. So when people come back to watch the replays, they'll know exactly what race we're on, and you'll tell us what they're going to do on turf for the first time. Yeah,
it's a mile 16th race on the turf. It's optional claiming, $40,000 is the claiming price, and purse is $44,000 for fillies, 3-year-olds and old, or fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races, or claiming price of $40,000 and which have never won 2 races.
Oh, a lot of mumbo jumbo there, Terry.
Yeah.
Just basically horses that haven't won 2 races. Well, anyway, horses that we want to win in a mile and a 16th. In mile and a 16th on the turf, Terry, they've run 2 races. Both were won by closers. None of the horses went wire to wire. One of the wins came from the rail. The other one came from 8 and out, Terry. So really not a whole lot of bias to consider in race number 7. If speed does get the job done, looks like the 4 to 5, but everybody here's
Yeah.
got a shot to be on the front,
Yeah.
except for maybe a couple.
Yeah, many of them show speed, and as you said, the 4 and 5 are the only ones that show more speed than the rest. And then the overlay is the 1. It's supposed to be like 4 to 5, and it's listed at 2 to 1 in the morning line. The 9, 2, and 6 have the most C zones, although the rest of them show some C zones, but the 1.
You know, this race, Terry, is strange, wide open, and somehow we ended up on the same 4 horses, which is always interesting to me.
You were looking at my computer.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm a plagiarist. If you can become the president being a plagiarist, I guess it can make you a good handicapper too, right?
That's right.
Looking at this, the 4 and the 7, they're the ones that want to be up on the front. They're kind of out there by themselves. Everybody else wants to be middle and back. So if the 4 and the 7 have a distinct early pace advantage, they could steal this race, but they really don't. The 7 probably has the best chance of it between the 2, but still going to get plenty of pressure from horses behind it that have more late speed, being which the 9 horse, the 8 horse, and the 1. They got plenty of early pace, late pace, and really we got half the field, more than half the field with similar late run. So I think you're going to see a cavalry come closing down the stretch. And when they come closing down the stretch, you have the 9 horse scoring out marginally better than the rest from a total pace finish scenario. I would say really only the 5 and the 2 from a pace scenario don't fit in here. On the long, you would want longer odds from the 1, the 8, or maybe the 6, perhaps, to take one of those to back them. But in any case, Terry, it is a pretty open race, I feel like. And again, we landed on the same 4.
Yeah, I like the 9 Nisi Marie. She has won 2 races out of her last 3 starts, has a high percentage winning trainer, switches the high percentage winning jockey Paco Lopez. And her best turf speed is fastest among today's starters. The 7 is my second choice, ran second in her last race as the favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer who this trainer wins 34% of the starts when bringing a beaten favorite back to race again, and has a really high percentage winning jockey. On the short list, the 4 is my third pick. She's won 2 races in a row and going for a hat trick, and she has a high percentage winning trainer who wins 21% of the starts when chipping a horse in to run. Vanilla Bean, the 8 is my long shot, finished in the money in her last 3 races, winning the last one easily. I'm going to play a pick 4, 50 cent. I'm going to use the 7, 9 with the 1, 2, with the 3, 4, 7, 8, with the 2, 5, 9, 10.
So in race number 7, where we are now, Terry, right? That's the 1.16 on the turf.
Yeah.
And I know Christopher D'Souza is mentioning that he likes the 1 horse here, the bet of the day. I think the 1 horse, if I remember correctly, was main track only, and they hadn't scratched it by post time. It was still listed. I don't think it's going to be in race number 7 because it looks like the turf is firm. So has it scratched out yet, Terry, in race number 7?
Let me look here real quick.
The program says it's still in there. It says the turf is good. I don't know. So, I mean, that quite frankly is a bit confusing to me unless they plan on taking it off the turf.
It didn't say that it was scratched. So
right.
Only the 3 shows that it's scratched.
As long as the race remains on the turf, the 1 horse is not going to run because it is MTO. So main track only, unless they made some change somewhere. And that's why I didn't include the 1 in my picks, because I'm not expecting it to run, Mr. Terry.
Yeah, and that might be a typo too. You know, sometimes people make mistakes, so you never know. Might not.
Well, I hope not. So Jared says, "Where's my pick 4?" I didn't really do a pick 4 in here because I felt like this race was wide open. I felt like the last race was wide open. I feel like the 2 races in the middle are wide open, and you're going to have to go. I feel like really you're going to get an upset somewhere. I hope for Terry's sake, I hope I'm wrong. But I feel like you're going to get an upset somewhere in that sequence at a high price and make it difficult to have as many horses as you need. Jared likes the 7, 4, 6, 8 boxed in race number 7. And then Christopher D'Souza. Yeah, Christopher, keep an eye out on that, though. The 2, he likes the 2 and the 6 beyond that, the 1 horse. So just keep an eye on that, Christopher, later on in the day. They hadn't scratched it yet. It's kind of a head scratcher to me why they haven't scratched it yet. Maybe they're expecting rain and we're going to move the track off the track later on. I don't know why it's not been scratched yet. Terry, maybe we can pull up the Philadelphia weather report in a minute. But race number 9, 7, I like the 9 horse here too, Terry, because you copied my picks, or I copied yours. Nisi Marie 2 races ago when Paco Lopez was riding. Paco Lopez jumps back on today, and they're going to move the horse down in class. The 7-horse Istria, by far the best speed numbers after switching to grass, does have a pair of seconds in 2 on the Parx turf. I really wanted to put the 4 on the short list higher. Unbeaten in 2 races on the grass. And we love Aaron McClellan and Tyler Connor around here from Penn. But the Penn shippers, unfortunately, more often than not, don't do that well at Parx. Maybe on grass will be different than the dirt. Vanilla Bean, I really wanted to put the 6-horse in here too over the 8-horse, but the 6-horse has been regressing badly. The last time it regressed badly last out. The last time it regressed badly off a race, it regressed in the next race, or at least went flat. It took a couple of races to rebound, whereas the 8-horse Vanilla Bean is actually improving. So you have a horse that's going up versus a horse that's going down. I chose the horse that's moving up. 4-7-9 with the 7-9 over the 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 for me in the trifecta. Terry, while you go through race number 8, I will go ahead. I'm a heater. I'm on a heater. Got early pick 5 at Del Mar. Tested was $9,800. Congratulations there, Jared. You got to let us know these things in advance, my friend. Number of Scary Creation. Car took is 1 for 1 on turf. May wake up at the surface switch. So keep an eye on that 5-horse in there too in race number 7. As Scary Creations is usually spot on with a lot of these things. Very good handicapper indeed. Should have a Scary Creations show.
That's right.
You could be dressed up like the Grim Reaper making picks. I think that'd be awesome. What do you think?
It would be, yeah.
That would be a little bit of a shtick with some great picks. That's what we can aim with. That'll be like the motto. A little shtick with great picks.
All right.
In race number 8, Terry, since we're having a little bit of fun here, tell us about what's going to happen.
It's 1 mile and 70 yards, another optional claiming race, $35,000 claiming price. It's got a purse of $56,000 for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races other than a maiden or a claiming or a starter or a state bred, or which have never won 3 races or a claiming price of $35,000.
Yeah, just to kind of rewind a little bit on the conversation we were having a minute ago. It does look like the weather's supposed to stay nice in Ben Salem, PA, where the Parx track is. So it's tough for me to say that 1 horse is going to run, because I do think they're going to stay on the turf, Terry, in race number 7. In the 8th race, and when you talk about the profile of a winner, 1 mile and 70 yards on the dirt, early speed wins 30 out of 100 times. They get on the front, they stay on the front, and they don't give it up. There is a rail bonus for Beach Days, so maybe Beach Days could take that rail all the way to the winner's circle. 2 through 7 play fair. 8 and out, there's a little bit of a penalty. Not an issue here, Terry. Looking at the early speed, it does look like it's on the inside.
Yeah, it is, but all of them show some speed except for the 4. And then the 9 has an overlay of 9. What am I looking here? I'm looking at we're on the 8th race, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's no overlays that I really see here. So
no, it looks like anyway. It looks like the 1 and the 2 are close to fair odds, and everybody else has got a little bit of work to do, so to speak.
That's right. And the 6 and the 4 have the best C zones. So
particularly, they're way above everybody else. In fact, both of them are better than everybody else combined. Here you have an interesting race too, because you have they should line up 7-2-4 in terms of how they went out. The 2-horse there being the one that has probably the most tactical advantage from a pace standpoint, because if the 7 goes too slow, can take charge. The 7 goes too fast, can sit in front of the other horses behind it that might want to run by it at the end. But it does look like it has the most early juice up in here, Terry. When we look at the early speed, the Flash and Dynamite, the PC type, there's your left arrow horse again, one that you always want to keep an eye on. Late speed in this belongs to the Beach Days horse. Again, probably going to be 3 lengths, but in the short field, maybe not that far off the leaders. So he needs about a 3-length advantage. It doesn't have a 3-length advantage over the 6. Could have a difficult time running by that, but could run by everybody else in there, Terry. And then as far as total pace is concerned, Flash and Dynamite, Beach Days, a bit ahead of everybody else. So the 2 PC types, the 2 versatile horses, might be versatile enough to score here.
Yeah, I actually like the 2 Princess Sophie. She finished in the money in 9 races out of 12 starts at Parx Racing. So she really goes for this track. She's won 6 of those races, and she has a high percentage winning trainer and a high percentage winning jockey. And then I like Beach Days as my second choice. The 1 tried turf, but was bumped and finished in ninth, and now returns to dirt where she has done well in the past. And the rail post is winning 18% clip. Number 6, Flash and Dynamite. She won her last race at Parx Racing, has the highest speed figure at today's distance. Her best start speed is fastest among today's starters. She has a really good high percentage winning jockey, and she's my third pick. The 7, Curio Sugar. She drops in class today. Her early speed running style helps her chances, and she switches to high percentage winning jockey. I'm out of money, so there's no bet for me in this race.
I'm going to go with the 2-horse here too, Terry, in that Princess Sophie. Faster fractions last out. Third race off the layoff. Everybody loves that angle and likes to run at the distance. 6 times out, 2 wins and 3 seconds, no thirds in there. So it should be forwardly placed with a good shot to go wire to wire. Flash and Dynamite did run the top last race speed figure. That was back in May, Terry. Does have a couple of good maintenance workouts in between, so should remain sharp. This one's been a beast at the distance, Terry. Run there 14 times and won 8 of them with 3 seconds. So clearly likes a mile and 70 yards. Beach days, the 1-horse, that's everybody. I mean, that's what I want retirement, right? Beach days, just to be out on the beach in the days. This one's down from a trio of non-graded stakes races at Monmouth, rides the hot rail. Very effective at Parx, 11 times out, in the money in 9 of them with 3 wins, 5 seconds, and a third. Cairo Sugar, the 7-horse, and here another one in there, drops from $100,000 non-graded stakes race, Terry, and ran much better times out. That's why, the pick 4 to me was difficult in here, because I felt like any one of these 4 horses could win. And the race before that, maybe even, I don't know if the 4-horse can win. Probably we just put it in the winner's circle with that strong C-zone score, since neither one of us have them in our picks. That made it real difficult for me to, settle on just a few horses for the pick 4.
Yep.
The last 2 races to go. Race number 9 is the beginning of the late daily double, and they return to grass, Terry.
Yeah, they do. They go back to the turf at 7.5 furlongs. It's an allowance race, $50,000 purse. It's for registered Pennsylvania-bred 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won a Pennsylvania restricted races other than a maiden claiming or starter race.
So Christopher D'Souza going back a race says the 4-6 exacta box with the 4 taking the score there. Jared Bush thinks Terry's going to bet plus 600 on I think the 49ers could be picked to be the worst team in the NFL, and Terry would still think that they're going to win everything.
That's right. I would. Yes. I'm not a fair weather fan.
No, Terry is absolute definition of a homer, unquestionably, which is cool. I mean, you got to back your colors, I guess.
Yep.
7.5 furlongs on the turf, Terry. They haven't run very many of them, just one. It was won by a closer that ran from the rail. Really not enough data there to really make any sense of it. So this is another one of those races, Terry, in the pick 4 sequence that I felt was just go ahead and hit the all button, because you're probably going to catch a long shot in here. Terry obviously didn't get into my computer beforehand because we differ on the first 2, and he only copied 2 of my picks.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide open race. A lot of these horses show some kind of speed, although the 3 and the 11 show the most. And then the 4 has an overlay, pretty nice, 5-2 versus 6-1. And the 10 goes from like 7 or 5-2, or a little bit over 5-2 to 6-1. And then most of these show some kind of C-zone numbers, and pretty darn good ones too.
Yeah. So this one, just I feel like just hit the quick pick selection. You might do all right there, right?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe we can find some secrets in the pace setup in this race. And you got a lot of early speed in here. 1, 3, 4, 7, 11, and 12. They want to be on the front. So they could set up nicely for a horse that wants to come from off the pace. You have the 8-horse in here. As again, a Sesame Street horse. One of these doesn't look like any of the others. And when you get a lone EP, they're pretty much horses that have a really good shot to win. Again, looking at the early speed here, Terry, I mean, there's really not a big difference from all but 2 horses in here. And even Recycle has a shot at being on the lead. Late speed, maybe, which is probably where this race is going to be won. Again, very competitive in here. Young Squire, the 13-horse, showing the most of it. Total pace, the 10-horse, John Dutton. The 9, Mitropanos. Those 2 a little bit better than everybody else. But again, you got to come all the way down here before you get to more than a 10-point differential from top to bottom. I feel like this one is this one anyone could win. And this is the time, Jared, to tell us who you think will win this big race up in here, because I do think there's a good shot to get a good price, Terry. Take us through your thoughts.
Well, I like the 7 Recycle. He ran 7th in his last race as the favorite, but has a high percentage winning trainer. This trainer wins 25% of the starts when bringing back a beaten favorite. And then it returns to Park Racing, where he's only a nose from winning his last 2 starts on the turf. And his best start speed is fastest among today's starters. His best turf speed. Anyway, number 4 is my second choice, Windsor Gold. He finished in the money in his last 6 starts, winning 2 of the races, and the shorter distance can be a plus. And then number 3, a Western Yarn, is my third pick. He had a terrible last race, breaking out at the start, getting bumped and carried out. So I'll throw that race out. Prior to that race, he had won 2 out of 3 starts, drops in class today, has a bullet workout on July 8th. And then number 8 is my long shot, winning on the weekends.
But today's Monday.
I know, but yeah, but maybe he thinks it's a 3-day weekend. Anyway, he did not seem to like the mud, and now back to the surface, where he just won by 17 lengths, and he has a high percentage winning trainer and jockey.
So Jared in this race says 3, 4, 1, 9, 10. Buddy, box it. There. What are you doing? An exacta or a trifecta there, my friend, on the box? Scary Creations, I'm totally in agreement with you here. Bothers me that these MTO horses are not scratched. It actually pisses me off that Parx is doing this. I don't get it either. They should let the bettors know exactly what's going to go on, especially when you're looking at those vertical bets, right? You're not quite sure what's going to happen right there. Jared says an exacta and a trifecta. So kind of go a little deep in the bankroll there. And then Jared says if you want it, fatten up your bankroll, to go ahead and take the Rams at plus 1,000 to win the NFC West. Honestly, I'd rather take the 49ers, to be honest with you.
So
Jared has got 49ers in the Super Bowl at plus 2,500, but thinks the Bengals are get to the Super Bowl at plus 2,000. So we'll see. Race number 9 for Christopher D'Souza. The 5 will win this race. 5, 13, 11, exacta and trifecta box for Christopher. For me, I'm going to go with that 10 horse in here, Mr. Terry, as my top choice. John Dutton ran the top last race. Speed figure it was at this level. It was the first time the horse tried to run on the turf. Missed by just this much. So, and he has 2 works between the races. So those extra stamina from those 2 works will make up this much. Royal King, the 11 horse, Michael Maker so far doesn't enter a whole lot at Parx. He's put 4 in. He's won 2 of them. The other 2 have run off the board. So 50-50 shot based upon that small data sample that Michael Maker wins this one. And this one's been facing a lot tougher. So we'll see if Royal King can make it 3 out of 5 for Michael Maker. The 4 horse Windsor Gold, first time on the turf for this one, Terry. The off-track record, which is sometimes an indication of what a horse might like running on the turf or the grass for the first time. That off-track record says, yes, this one should like the turf. And then finally winning on the weekends, coming out of a $100,000 non-graded stakes race. It's a light switch horse, what I call. They either win or they're off. And when it wins, it tends to win kind of easily. And when it loses, the horse tends to get crushed. So I'm going to go again because I'm uncertain how this race is going to play out with the exacta 4, 8, 10, 11 over to 10 and 11 and hope that I get it in the right order on that exacta, Terry, to get the best possible payout. That's the hope right there.
You sure you don't want to put my 7 in there? You got plenty of money left to be able to do that. That's 7. I've got a feeling
actually, that was my next horse, Terry, but I'm gonna be a better of integrity because I made that change earlier and it only cost me money. So
it did. It cost you $3. So
yeah, this race is wide open. So I if I had to put a confidence score on this one on a 1 to 10, I'd probably put it around a 4.
All right.
The last race, hopefully another one that I think it's kind of merits another low confidence score is a maiden claiming 10,000, Terry, for 7 furlongs. Take it away.
That's right. 7 furlongs, maiden claiming 10,000, purse of 20,000. It's for maidens, 3-year-olds, and upward. Very simple.
Very simple indeed. All right. So at 7 furlongs, we did talk about the profile of a winner favoring horses that have tactical speed. 31% of the time they go wire to wire. Again, strong inside 3 bias here, Terry. And again, the closer you are to the rail from 4 and out, typically the better. So we're looking for inside speed in the closing race of the day. And JSK Pharaoh's Reign looks like that's the one that should be out front, but we'll have plenty of contact.
Yep, 4, 10, and 9 show the most speed. The one has an overlay of just under 8 to 1 to 12-1 on the morning line. The 5 shows simulated odds at like 9-2. It's 10-1 on the morning line. The 7 just under 5-1, and it's a whopping 15-1 on the morning line. All but the 1 show good C-zone numbers.
Yes, look out for the 7 goal line. Maybe this is the 7, Terry, that I should add into my picks because you got the big overlay and the strong C-zone. We've seen that combination come through enough times to be certainly worried about that one. Again, you got a race here that's tilted towards the front. A lot of speed up in here, Terry. So you better be the fastest of the fast if you're going to get to the W from here. And look at all this lined up here, Terry. I mean, you got all the way down to here. I mean, all but the 15 horse within 10 points of the front. So gonna have plenty of horses battling for the front. When they're coming down the stretch, again, a pretty tight, pretty good mix in here too, Terry. A little bit of a drop off after here. So, yeah, again, very competitive across the board. A lot of similar early speed, a lot of similar late speed. It's going to mean a lot of similar total pace. But the 10 and the 9 just squeak out a little bit better than everybody else. They should sit right behind all of this speed. The 8 horse in here winning on the weekends, Terry being the only one. Oh, that's the wrong race, right, Terry? Race 10. That, went through all that. Hey, I did that beautifully, though, I feel like.
You did a great job.
In race 10, you got a couple of early speed horses in here, the 4 and the 10. Those 2 want to be on the front. And it sure looks like the 4 horse will be on the front with the 9, and the 10 will be in that mix too. So that race should set up the way the board shows. Bubby Papermaker, that has the most late speed, put together the early speed, late speed combination. And Bubby Papermaker, the 5 horse, grading 5 points out better than anybody else. It looks like race number 3 is running, Terry. So let's go back to our picks in race number 3 and see how this racehorse plays out. Right now, the 1 horse is on the lead. That one is Riverview. That guy's got some pressure to the outside. I think that is the 6 horse, Be Water, which we thought might be on there. The Reed's Fangirl, the horse that we projected to be out on the lead aggressively, did not get the lead. So as they go through the opening quarter in 22 for in race number 3, where they're going to run 7 furlongs, I'm going to guess that's too fast, Terry, for this level horse. Although the 1 horse maintains its lead out there. 6 horse is in there as well. The 3 horse is tightened up. The jockey's got to pull up because the 1 horse has probably cut him off on the rail a little bit. They went through 55 and 4. That's going to prove to be way too fast, I feel like, Terry. Now, the 4 horse now is, to me, looking like it's moving pretty well. 3 horse had to pull up and then come back. So it's going to have to be by far the best horse in this race to score the W here, Terry. Looks to me like the 4 horse is going to run by to be your winner. I don't know if the 6 horse is going to be able to hang on for second after those blazing opening fractions. We'll see. The 3 horse is trying to make up ground. I think there's a pretty good chance. No, he's starting to fade a little bit. So this race looks like it's going to go 4, and then it's going to be close between the 6 and the 5. That 6 horse is your second place horse. So 4-6 is the way race number 2 plays out. I do have the exacta in there, but I don't know what it's going to pay. Well, the 6 horse was 11-1 there, Terry. Be Water. Mm-hmm. So I might get a decent exacta there. And I think I'm still alive in my pick 4 too. Yes, I'm still alive in the pick 4. And as you are. So we both advance. Survive and advance, Terry.
That's right.
Would have been better for both of us, I think, if the 6 horse had won there. Well, you don't have the 6 horse.
Like that. Yeah, I would have rather had the 6, but can only do what you
No,
did.
you didn't have the 6 in your pick 4.
Oh, that's right. I didn't. I had 1, 2, 4, 5.
I'm kind of surprised, really, the fractions that 6 horse ran a much better race than the gap between it and the 4 might look like, Terry, because the fractions that horse had to run, and the 3 horse too, the way it ran and had to check, that check probably cost it the race right there. So yes, 4, 6, 5, and 2, folks. 4, 6, 5, and 2 in race number 3. The bet of the century was indeed the bet of the century in race number 3.
All right.
Go to race 10. Yes, we're going to go to race 10 now. Yeah, Ed, I'm sorry. I know I got a little bit confused. Back to race number 10 for Ed Medina. Thank you, Ed, for the prompt. Tell us what you like in race 10, Terry.
I like the 9 Skyhook. He's ran 4th in his last race, has a high percentage winning trainer. He can improve with blinkers being added today. Eddie Mush, the 6 is my second choice, switches to high percentage winning trainer and switches to high percentage winning jockey. And then I like the 10, the Great Pumpkin.
Great Pumpkin from
Yeah,
Charlie Brown. Gary.
He drops in class today and can improve while returning to dirt. And then Buddy Papermaker, the 5, he drops in class today, has a high percentage winning jockey, and can improve returning to the dirt.
And then I got the 9 horse in here too, Terry, as my top selection in here. Again, a race that I just feel like is completely wide open. Skyhook third up off the layoff. Our good friend Charles, the Big Boopa's favorite handicapping angle. And from race 1 to race 2 did show some big improvement. So if that trend continues in the third up, we should be in a good spot, especially considering it should be part of the early pace here. Number 4, JSK Pharaoh's Reign. Showed a lot of speed a couple of races back. I think the move to the inside 3 draw is going to make a big difference with that inside speed bias. Number 6, Eddie Mush. Paco rides in the second race at Parx after track dropping. And track dropping is when they come from a higher tier track like Oaklawn, Churchill Downs, the New York Circuit, Kentucky tracks to Parx or other what I would call tier 2, tier 3 tracks. And then finally, the Great Pumpkin in here, Terry, probably the biggest class dropper in this maiden claiming race. I'm also going to put the 5 horse Buddy Papermaker in my exacta. 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 over to 4, 9. It worked for me in race number 3. Maybe I can catch a couple of prices in race number 10 to close out the card at Parx. Here are our full card picks for today at Parx. In race number 1, the 8 horse won, not the 7, which I mistakenly thought won. And then the 8 horse won in race number 2, followed by the 4 horse in race number 3. Here you can see our picks going forward. Once again, folks, kindly, there's a link down in the description below. Head on over there, support our family, Julie Jacobs, who will most likely co-host tonight with Sean on Horse Center. We'll have on jockey Deshaun Parker. He'll fill us in on his rehabilitation as he works his way from an injury back to the track. So I'm sure we're going to break some news tonight, I hope, with Deshaun Parker. Looking forward to that. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern, as it always is, Monday through Wednesday, Terry. Tomorrow, you and I will be back at the same time to do Parx again. Charles will make his triumphant return on Wednesday as we do Saratoga, probably Wednesday. Maybe we'll do Colonial Downs Thursday. I'm not sure. I mean, because a lot of folks did ask us about Colonial Downs. They got some big races there too. Charles in race 3, Christopher D'Souza. I had the try box beautiful in race number 3. So how much did that pay? Because they got the race 3. I think they do have the results out. The exacta for $1 paid $24.40. Not bad. I'll take that. The trifecta for Christopher D'Souza paid $31.70 on 50 cents. Beautiful work there, Christopher. Appreciate that. So cashing some winners there. Charles in the last race, love the 8 in the last race. They hit the pick 5. So keep an eye on the 8 horse in race number 10 from Charles. And Christopher D'Souza, he says the 7 horse. So we have all sorts of, between all of us, we have the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 as potential winners in race number 10, just to give you a sense of how wide open that one is. All right, Terry, I think I covered all the bases. Any final thoughts before we get out of here today?
Just be careful and watch out for this darn weather. It's sure hot a lot of different places, and they got floods everywhere and fires. And just be careful. Take it easy. Be safe, and go ahead and have a great week.
Race is wide open. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And that's why I stayed away from that late pick 4. If it hits, if you can hit it in the late pick 4, late pick 5, I think. So I'm probably just locking in. It's going to go favorite. But I don't think that's what's going to happen from in the late pick 5 or the late pick 4. If you can put together a ticket, I wouldn't put a whole lot of money on it. Somewhere between a hot dog and a prime rib, $30-$40, somewhere in there. I do think you have a good shot to get a pretty big payout for sure. Whether you play the late pick 4, the late pick 5, like me, you're going to experiment with some exactas today. You're just at work hoping to hit a couple of nice bets to augment your pay, and offset some of that inflation. No matter what you're doing today, folks, we hope you have a fantastic day. Got God's grace, God's favor in everything that you do. And of course, all your picks and your life goals all end up in
the winner's circle.
Again, thanks for joining us on this Money Monday. Terry and I look forward to joining you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day.